Okie dokie. Let's do it. It's time for some bots. Just gonna make sure that this goes live to the actual scheduled one. YouTube has a habit of not doing that, so... See, like, it never goes live under the actual one that you want. But it's not like anyone was waiting, so that's fine. I just don't understand why that is. Okay, just gotta spread the word now. Good morning, zesty Uncle Vinny. I did not expect to read that name this morning. Okay, so got a few games that I wanted to take a look at. I think we'll start off with the longer one. Just because that's like an easy in for the stream to start. Okie dokie. So here we are. I clicked on this game because I saw that either Lunax or Wickedbot had been requesting matches between the two of them, so I figured that we'll see what all the hubbub is about. And we have got Lunax VRR in the upper right. Meanwhile, in the bottom right, we have got the Terranbot, Wickedbot, getting lots of updates and stuff lately. And we're still sort of waiting to see its full potential. But Lunax remains as the puzzle to be solved. The Protoss bot is just incredibly effective as what it does. Maybe more effective than you'd think, which is why it's interesting to see how it continues to perform. It's not even hit its final form yet. I need to make a sign or something that I can raise that says it doesn't have speed mining. And yeah, so we have got Wickedbot taking on Lunax, TVP, bot v bot. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning into the live stream, click that like button if you haven't already. And yeah, subscribe, all that good stuff. Unfortunately, I'm already out of coffee this morning. But yeah, should be a fun match between these two. I know Wickedbot was getting some updates as far as maybe adding Vikings, which could be very big against a bot like Lunax. And for now, yeah, just a two racks opener. Reaper on the way. And Lunax didn't say, oh, it did say carrier build. So we are going to be getting some of them carriers. Early Zealot is actually moving out, though, followed up by an Adept for Lunax. That's definitely interesting here. I'm not sure if I've really noticed it doing this before, but this could be significant if the Zealot can get across, but the command center will be done, and Wickedbot does have some production up. The main thing is the Adept could be very helpful for chasing after this Reaper, which apparently is just going to up and die. Okay, so that's not a good start for the Reaper of Wickedbot. I mean, it sees the Stargate, I guess, if Wickedbot looks for that kind of thing. The Zealot, meanwhile, is just scouting around, weirdly enough. And I say weirdly enough because it's not like it's poking the natural. It's checking the bottom left corner. And then just continuing on. Wickedbot's economy is already looking, well, pretty wicked. And then we do have Lunax getting up at second base. Still no fleet beacon started. This is what I mean by, like, that this isn't the most rushy rush in the world always. Like, in theory, if you want to get out a carrier as quickly as possible, you go for the fleet beacon before you start +1. You don't build any extra adepts, but Lunax does play it safe at times. No cannons this game, notably, either. Yeah, I guess that's the main difference here, is that Lunax isn't building cannons, which could potentially be something that was done in an update, maybe to have more versatile defense or something. I imagine this would definitely be weaker, though, against like a big push, compared to the cannons and batteries that we sometimes see on top of the ramp. So that is definitely interesting. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning into the live stream, click that like button. Just give it a slap. A Medivac is on the way now for Wickedbot. Stim pack, all that good Terran stuff. So we'll see whether it's going to be a frontal poke or a drop, but the timings are looking that Wickedbot will hit way before the first carrier is out, because there still has yet to be a fleet beacon. So I think we must be seeing some experimentation on the build here by Lunax, as yeah, this fleet beacon was late, even by Lunax's standards. It built a ton of adepts prior to that, and that of course is going to make it quite vulnerable to a potential bio push unless the adepts are going to defend. But I mean, Terran bio with Medivacs should be able to slaughter 5 adepts, particularly with no battery. So we'll see how this goes here. The Zealot is doing another trip, because why not? And yeah, I think I'm gonna stand now that I've had my breakfast. I can do that. It actually kind of feels weird to cast sitting down these days. I stand like 99% of my casts, although I do need to adjust that a little bit. Okay, so the first bio move out is going here for Wickedbot. It's pushing up towards that natural base. There's the stim. Pylon is in trouble. And now the adepts are coming to try and save the day. There is a rather short timer until some carriers are out, but look at this. Bio should just be able to handle these adepts very effectively. Wickedbot, yeah, can totally win this fight. And so the adepts will go down, and it will have to be a carrier that potentially saves the day here. How much damage will be done before that carrier rolls on up, though, to potentially handle this? I don't know. In theory, if the Marines kill the interceptors, this could be fine for Wickedbot. Looks like they're just ignoring the interceptors, actually, though. That is not good, because I do believe that that quantity of Marines with Medivac healing could have actually killed all the interceptors, and then the carrier would have just been useless. Lots of damage was done, This natural nexus almost dying is still a big lost investment, though. Yeah, Wickedbot has some success with that push. It's now thinking of maybe going for a drop, which isn't necessarily the best against carriers when you're dropping towards their production. Now, Wickedbot is producing Vikings, though. It does have ship weapons already on the way. Or, pardon me, it does have 1-1 upgrades on the way, an armory on the way. And yeah, everything is looking good here for Wickedbot. We do see a drop attempt inside the main base. And yeah, it does seem that Wickedbot kind of is prioritizing, or maybe it's programmed to ignore the interceptors or something like that. And so it's just totally ignoring them. It's such a difficult problem to program a bot that handles things like interceptors well, because it's situational, right? There's times where you want to fight the interceptors, and there's times where you want to fight the carriers or go for buildings. So there's really 3 options, and it's not exactly easy to just program your bot to recognize those situations, because even humans make those mistakes, for sure. Now, lots more probes of Lunax are dying, so there's a reason why there's only 1 carrier production right now. Will the Nexus fall? Yes, it does indeed. And so that's actually really painful for Lunax. So Wickedbot is having quite a good start here, just sending out wave after wave of its own men at the enemy, the Zap Brannigan approach. There is a 3rd base up for the Terran. We're getting Ghosts, Vikings. If Wickedbot doesn't win this game, I think it's going to have to be a major bot fumble. But we have seen Lunax literally win games with like 4 carriers in the past. Okay. Tom popping into the chat. Hello, Tom. And we do see this drop attempt. Perhaps the bot ignores the interceptors, but doesn't realize carriers don't have an attack. The bot API is a bit odd in that regard. Yeah, I could see that being the case. Although, I mean, who knows? I certainly don't. Click that like button, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already. Spread the good word of bots. Lunax losing more resources, but yeah, these Marines are totally just ignoring the carriers. Okay, then we do have 2-2 on the way for Wickedbot. More and more bio being produced. In theory, Lunax may be able to squeeze out like another carrier or something, and then it might be like, okay, it's attack time. In which case, Wickedbot could be screwed. Another drop attempt going on in, as these Marines and even a Ghost are moving on in. I believe Wickedbot doesn't have Cloak programmed in. Carrier actually took some damage there, though, so that's significant. Hey there, Dog Tato. Yeah, definitely not much of an economy for Lunax here. So we'll see whether it's able to come back. Usually it's moved across the map by now and like gone for its Hail Mary play. And this game it's kind of just chilling, although it does have 6 carriers now. It's barely mining. Is there a world in which Lunax can come back and win this game? More command centers building like Wickedbot. Should absolutely not lose this game unless there's some major bug. For example, its Vikings are just chilling. How many Vikings does it want before it goes for an attack? I don't know. The fact that it actually fought the carrier gave me hope. You gotta love Wickedbot. Medivacs are very lively. Ooh, live. Yes, we are live, Jeremy. And if you're alive, click that like button. Wickedbot will take all the bases in the map. That's what we're getting to. We're kind of approaching bot bugging situations here with Lunax, not attempting to re-expand or anything. Now, we do have this other drop. Will it get any material damage? Some dead probes, a bit of shields on the assimilator. Eventually, Wickedbot will be maxed out, too. Yeah, Wickedbot used to build lots of bases, and it's still kind of building more bases. Looks like it salvaged some bunkers, interestingly enough. And it is building lots of bases. It's still Wickedbot. Ooh, that's not good. Oh, uh-oh. Wickedbot. That's a no-no. Who knows? Maybe that's messing with it a little bit. We are going to fast forward. Just a tad. It's fine. That's what Medivacs are for. If Wickedbot actually goes to pick those up. Oh no, it's still producing more units here. Wickedbot taking more bases still. I do like how it builds the bunkers, then morphs the planetary, and then salvages the bunkers once the planetary's done. We have another drop attempt, but that's just not amounting to much. And how is Wickedbot not maxed out yet? It's just mining no gas, and that's why it's unable to max out. Oh yeah, this is painful though. This is a decent amount of supply stuck here. I mean, these guys, oh no, they actually are fully stuck. Yeah. All these SCVs are stuck too. That's not good. Programming bots is hard, guys. Okay, let's see another suicide drop being sent on out. I think I can reveal at this point that this game goes on for 33 minutes, so we're gonna see what eventually happens. Lunax builds a pylon. So Lunax is still kind of alive. Will it long distance mine though? I don't think it has long distance mining behavior. So at some point Lunax will officially run out of money here, but Wickedbot really isn't attacking anymore. It's probably just broken because of this, I'm guessing here. Like, that's probably why it's not going for a big attack. And it's just building more Vikings, which are not doing anything. And so, in theory, it's going to just trade out all its units that it can actually fight with and just sit here till the end of time with all its Vikings. Yeah. I don't know if we need to watch this whole thing. DBA. Wait, whoa. We actually get a random move out from Lunax. So some sort of timer was hit. Will Wickedbot respond? Yes, it will. And can it? Best case scenario for Wickedbot, Lunax makes it over here and frees these units. There is 8 carriers for the Protoss. And then, yeah, see, Wickedbot's trying to group up on this, which is not good. Means its main base is kind of toast if it's not actually going to defend that. Eventually, though, these units should be freed or at least engaged by Lunax, so... Apologies, still kind of waking up. Gotta get rid of the morning voice. Okay, these carriers are getting kind of close. All the buildings are dying. The Medivacs are picking up some of the units. They just can't quite figure it out. And then, oh no, Lunax. I'm surprised Lunax isn't actually going to this base. It's checking out other locations first. PC melting. Wickedbot microing its stuck units as hard as it can. It still has barely any gas too, which is kind of funny. It just goes to show how much of a gas heavy comp Wickedbot plays, I guess, because it's not like it's been mining no gas. But I guess it did kind of just start these, so. Okay, more buildings dying. Wickedbot has lost most of its stuff now. And we'll see what happens when these units get approached. Lunax is just not really finding them, though. Okay, another command center that was rebuilt. The Vikings would 1,000,000% win if they fought here. See, there's a carrier getting a little close. Yeah, Wickedbot rebuilt a lot of its units in this bad spot. So interceptors are dying as they attack on in, which is a little comical. But a bot's actually killing these interceptors. And, oh, one carrier's taken some heat. So I think all the carriers will die. Nope, they're out of interceptors. I think this is how this game ends, guys. With Wickedbot just being a little stuck behind its own production. The pain of being a bot author. I hate to break it to you, Tom, but this is a tie. Yes, this game is a tie. I'm just glad I clicked on the 30-minute tie replay and not the 50-minute one. Because, yeah, this was something. The game will end in 2 minutes. Yep. So, it just goes to show that programming your bot to build Vikings can kind of have consequences, I guess. But really, it's just the units getting stuck. Like, the Vikings were fine. And then, Wickedbot, yeah, never attacked. I did, like, in theory, you could write a check for stuck units, right? Like, if I'm not mistaken, like, couldn't you, if you wanted to, couldn't you program your bot to sort of say, like, hey, this unit was issued a command, it's still in the same location a minute later, sort of thing? Why isn't it moving somewhere? I think you could, in theory, do that, if I'm not mistaken, so. Okay. We're going to check out a really game next. We should go for a total 180 pivot away from whatever that was. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy these bot live streams, click that like button. Lunax, the man himself, is here. Flashback to my bot losing 50 minutes into a game because of a single floating building. Yeah, that'll happen. Okay, so we have got Zena now taking on Really. Proxy Zealot with probes taking on Safe Proxy Gate. Okay, so Zena going for some cheeky cheese, I think, but so is Really. I guess it's one of those things, as a bot author though, like, you'd probably just rather have your bot not get units stuck and work on that, right? Than adding a check to somehow resolve that. So we do have Zena chilling on one base, 2 gates, whereas Really is chilling on 3 pylons, 1 gateway outside the base of Zena. Have you ever cast any of the top recent bots versus AlphaStar? That is not possible, as AlphaStar has been inactive for 9 years now? Something like that? Gosh, it's been a long time. That hurts. Yeah, I guess it would be worth to add it to log it. Yeah, just so then you'd have a heads up for that. So we've got really going for its cheeky rush. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it would take the work out of your bot having issues if you did make it so that it could detect that. So we do have Zena being cheesed and not really cluing into that. It's firing up its first Stalker now, but there's already 2 Zealots out. We're going to have to see some of that God tier Zena probe micro potentially. Fortunately, the Zealots are splitting their attacks on the Cyber Core and a Gateway. Chrono Boost is going out on the Cyber Core. So again, this is Zena being focused wholly on aggression, not on attacking. It should be able to get out at least 2 of these Stalkers, though, and then start up some more, I suppose. It is building the proxy gateway still, though, so this is just a full-blown cheese build from Zena. The Stalker is also very pathed into a corner, but look at that, the Stalker. Oh, I just jinxed it totally. I thought it was going to get out there. I guess something else decided to path back in. And then, yeah, this one's also unfortunately having a hard time. Looks like it was trying to path onto its own gateway, and that might have been messing with it a little bit. And Zena did build 1 more Stalker, but that is getting stuck. It does make it out, but I don't know if this is going to go that well. Spent a couple days this week adding logic to, yeah, no, that sounds like a great use of time. If you have some sort of correcting method for it. Okay, so this is really showing us that it still knows how to cheese. GG. Probes and Zealots. Eventually it will have to find this gateway. Or Zena might actually GG out. Oh no, it's revealed and Zena, or really is ironically doing very well on the ladder. I don't know if it's ironic per se, just because it's like that was the whole intent of the bot. And it does do incredibly well on the ladder. Not a ton of losses. It does lose to a Benbot. I'm not really obscuring the results for myself right now. I guess we can. Oh, gotta log in. I guess I can obscure the results. Oh, see, gosh darn it. It's a bit of an annoying feature on AI Arena. If you click to go to page 2 and you're not signed in, it takes you to the login page, but then it doesn't forward you back to where you wanted to go. Come on, let's go. Okay, pick a game. Is there a Benbot game? There's a Benbot game up top, but it's only 4 minutes long. We'll keep digging. Benbot. Oh, looks like Benbot's actually been requesting some games against Really. Or Really's been requesting some games against Benbot. Hello to everyone who's tuning into this stream, though. If you guys haven't already, click that like button. Don't leave a comment. I mean, I guess you can if you're watching the VOD. Yeah, just give it a click. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Now we've got Benbot against Really, so we'll see how Benbot potentially handles some of this cheese. Proxy Nexus is the build. Benbot's pretty good about fixing issues over time, like weaknesses. And so, who knows, maybe he's already addressed the Proxy Nexus. Yeah, turns out it's a lot easier to make a gun than it is to make a bulletproof vest. Okay, so we have got the bot Really, programmed by Team Aerys. Maybe a bit of a reaction to Zozo, perhaps, causing some disruption by winning Probots. And then just being an absolute Chad and staying off the ladder. Benbot going for its low ground wall off. Lots of SCVs pulled against this probe. Did we get a build tag? Just from really. Proxy Nexus. There's the Nexus. Oh, is it going to be a bunker from Benbot? That's going to be a bunker, right? Yep. Except the SCV that was there to build it isn't the one that builds it. Yeah, this looks like a pretty specified response to this kind of thing. Yeah, that's interesting. Personally, I wonder if Benbot wouldn't... I mean, personally, I wonder if the answer would be to go for a high ground wall off. Because, like, you can have supply depot racks building second racks and then just no probe in your base to stop this. Which, if you know your opponent's cheesy, again, that brings up the question of do you use win rates when it comes to something like this, or do you just want to program in good general scouting behavior? That's unfortunate. The Nexus is just about done for, really? Holy cow, that's a lot of Zealots already loaded up and ready to go. There's the recall. Not all the probes make it, so some are just going to have to walk. Benbot loads into the bunker, so the bunker is going to be the main tool for this defense. These Zealots are putting out lots of damage. 2 SCVs are on the bunker to repair it. The positioning of the bunker may not be the best, but most of the probes have gone down, so that's a good chunk of the defense already successful. There is no wall completed, though, so the rest of the probes and Zealots moving across the map could still have some success. And, oh man, looks like this may not have been the response Benbot needed. I think this was entirely due to the positioning of the refineries, though, that Benbot didn't have the surface area it needed to repair. It's still pumping out 2 Marines at a time, but 2 Marines against Zealots without worker support is not good. The probes and the rest of the Zealots are trying to get down here. This one Zealot on the backside could be a big deal if it kills the SCVs that are there to repair the wall. We do have another Marine pop out, but again, not targeting the injured Zealot, not getting supported by the SCVs. And it is a slaughter as the SCVs are just kind of ignoring what's going on. Does a Marine make it into that bunker? No, it doesn't. I'd say if a Marine made it into that bunker, maybe there'd be a chance. But, oh dear. Oh dear. As, poor Benbot has a very rough time as the Zealots get on top of that. Another Marine pops out. I mean, yeah, Marines and Zealots have the same speed. So it's like, in theory, you can just run your Marines endlessly. But this is probably not what the author had in mind when they attempted to counter this cheese. Pretty sure pulling 2 to 3 workers can get the Nexus without a reactor. I don't know, like, Nexus builds really quickly. Like, I think you may need to pull more than 2 to 3 workers. Yeah, well done by Really, though. Benbot lifts the CC and looks for greener pastures. Is it going to drop a mule and try and rebuild? Really can see it. It's not attacking it. Really is actually just macroing now, which is good. What you want from a cheese bot is to have the behavior to build up, build a Stargate, and get those pesky floating buildings. Benbot, meanwhile, saving all its energy, not dropping a mule, is unfortunately asleep and will not wake up. So we wait for a Void Ray, which is kind of funny that the Zealots could get this, but they're just not. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 17 people watching. If we can get 17 likes, that would be great. I don't even know how much... Okay, Really's going overboard here. Benbot's like, there's Tempest! And GG. So the menace of Really is still largely unsolved, it seems. Do we check out a game in which Really loses? Anybot successfully defends it somehow, which is interesting, because I've cast a few games in which Anybot fails hard. It's also been a long time since Anybot's got an update. Guy was creeping. Last updated the 30th of May 2025, so it kind of came back. Didn't really get much of an update. The author's been offline for over a month. Any dev was last updated the 11th of July, so it's been some time. We could check out tier, but tier just gets got. Lunax defends it somehow, which is interesting. Do we? No, we've cast enough of those bots. Let's check out perhaps a GPT game. Let's do the old hand spoiler thing. GPT versus Sharkbot. That could be a fun one. Let's do that. Okie dokie, here we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we have got returning for duty. It's Sharkbot, just presently with one build programmed into it, is my understanding. And it seems to work pretty well, because I actually cast a game where it went quite into the late game. Sharkbot using the old name. You know, that's true. That's actually pretty funny. We do have Sharkbot being a bit of a jerk at first. And actually going for a proxy gateway, which is very cool. 2 proxy gateways. GPT having its barracks be blocked, but at least recognizing that. The unfortunate thing is there's 3 gateways going up outside its base. Man, we really are in the cheesy Protoss era of bots, aren't we? Okay, so that pylon goes down. GPT can build yet another Rax, but then another pylon goes down, and this is a little rough. It's not recognizing that. It's just building a different one. Oh, okay. It did have build issue 5, whatever build issue 5 means. And then we do have Zealots now being chrono boosted out. The gateways have been found as this SCV sets to work. Unfortunately, his days are numbered. Sharkbot's such a jerk with its probes. Like, they always get that one zap in. And now things are looking a little rough for our boy GPT here, seeing as how there is 1 Marine out, not a total wall. And Sharkbot is coming in with the Zealots. Okay, SCV's fighting the Zealots. Unfortunately, 2v1 doesn't go very well. That Marine needs to run for its life. The SCV actually kind of buys a second there. Unfortunately, this other Zealot is on the prowl. Looks like this Marine that's about to pop out may be able to get that injured Zealot. That would be a big deal. It's all about the snowball here. If the SCVs can sandbag enough and the Zealots can not kill off the Marines, then there's a chance. However, the SCV losses really are compounding here. A total wall does actually get up for GPT. That SCV is a hero. Get that SCV a medal, as that is preventing more Zealots getting on in here. The 2 Marines are working overtime. I can't overstate how important it is that SCVs have been pathing in to actually mess with the Zealots. And it looks like this has been a hold for GPT. As, yeah, it's got the solid wall. Then we have build issue 24 resolved. How many build, so does that mean 24 tries or something? Okay, GPT, yeah, should be able to defend this now. Sharkbot, though, is transitioning, now adding stalkers behind this. And we can't understate how much economic damage was done to GPT. It at least does have mules to keep that production going. If this Rax doesn't get repaired, though, that's going to be a problem. And it looks like the Rax is, or the supply depot is not being repaired. Stalker just trying to crash the gates for Sharkbot. Very, very bold. And this is really concerning here. Of course, the Stalker gets one Marine there. Single Zealot, 2 Zealots coming on up here. And there's not a lot being produced for GPT. It's so broke. It looks like it's kind of saving up money for something, though. Beautiful fanning out on the Marines to prevent the Zealot getting that much damage. This is exactly how Marines should handle Zealots, unless this guy gets cornered. But they do keep on moving. And then the wall does get resumed built. Rebuilt. And then we do have, yeah, Sharkbot still committing to this, just flooding in the units. 5 Marines is a lot of firepower, though. And the Zealots changing their mind. Okay, now we had some SCVs pulled off the line to repair, which seems a little bizarre, but it is cutting into the mining heavily. Only 4 SCVs remain. Probably saving minerals for Combat Shield. Well, it's getting close to a command center worth of minerals here. It's short on gas for Combat Shield. Sharkbot behind this is now transitioning. We've got a Robo on the way. Warp Gate being researched. Still just a 1-base Protoss to 1-base Terran, though. And we do get +1 armor started for GPT. It's already got +1 attack, which I didn't even highlight, which actually is definitely significant on this bio. Mules still being dropped. No more SCVs being built. That's not great. And it is still kind of just saving up money here. Building some Marines, though, which is good. Thank gosh for mules, right, guys? Sharkbot. Starting a conga line. And Sharkbot goes on home as it's got the Nexus building. GPT is now building SCVs, though. Does not queue up another SCV. Starts up Combat Shield. Yeah, so the worker production isn't great. Like, it built like 2 more SCVs, but it's had the money the whole time, so I guess it just prioritizes units or something. The army, though, is kind of getting decent. 16 Marines with 1/1 upgrades is no joke. Combat Shield on the way too. Sharkbot's micro is quite scary. We do have a Prism now with 4 Stalkers moving out on the map. GPT could have a tough time handling this. We'll see if it ever gets concussive shells, as that could definitely help shut this down. Is that going to be a depot? Depot. Yeah, resource balancing is difficult for bots, as it's something we see that multiple bots struggle with. This Prism of Sharkbot, just being a nuisance, does find the eBay in a little bit of a sweet spot. And yeah, the Stalkers are kind of getting bullied away, but there's not really an end in sight to this Stalker harassment. This is the kind of thing that people think of when they think StarCraft bots. This Prism harassment. A lot of times it seems that a bot will make a mistake, but in this case Sharkbot is doing quite well. Just a little bit of harassment, being a nuisance, and in theory, if Sharkbot keeps this up perfectly, there's basically nothing that can be done by GPT in order to handle this. As like, it's just the Prism's faster than Marines, and so they will never ever catch this. Yeah, this is exactly what we want to see, GPT. Oh, it does actually get the prism, though. Oh, no. Why, Sharkbot? You were doing so well. You were doing oh so well. Looks like a GPT is going to move out and attack these racks, or these gateways now, interestingly enough. Pardon me, though. I want to rewind and kind of slow it down a bit. It's like, why? It was doing so well. So why did it decide to path on down? Okay, it just decided to go home or something? That's a weird one. Like, because there was nothing to the right. So it's like, was Sharkbot trying to pull it home? I do not know. But that was definitely painful for Sharkbot. And because of situations like that, that's why having your units try and micro for banking on efficiency like that doesn't seem to work out too often. So that definitely hurts, and now the supplies are definitely closer thanks to that. However, we do have Sharkbot getting a Dark Shrine, getting a Colossus. That's a darn big deal. GPT is still going to send it, though, going for a bit of an attack. But look at this concave that's going to be on top of the ramp. These are charge lots. We're going to have to see some very, very good micro from GPT, but I don't know if that can do anything here. There's also a prism for Sharkbot. Sharkbot not actually pulling the trigger. There we go. The trigger gets pulled here as the Terran bot continues to try and push up the ramp, but there's the Colossus showing up in the prism, and yeah, that is not good for GPT. Sharkbot just a little too ahead from all those SCVs it killed, I think, as those Marauders go down, and then, yeah, not much production here for GPT. Prism plus Colossus, yeah. That, we'll see, unless Sharkbot makes some major mistake with the prism like it did, and it actually got a little too close there. Like, it's got the Gravitic Drive now, too. I wonder if that changes the math on how it micros. Colossi in general are pretty good against bio. Ain't that the truth? I think we'll fast forward a little bit now, as Sharkbot has got this, it seems, and it is very good to see that Sharkbot, like, just being put back on the ladder seems to be behaving well, even though it's just got one build enabled, that it does still do this transitioning well without any crazy mistakes. I don't think it crashes or anything like that. There's DTs causing problems. They're even blink DTs, because of course it's Sharkbot. And so that will be the undoing here of our Terran hero, I think. No scan, unfortunately. There's a Colossi too. Now there's two Colossi, of course. Wait, was that another dead prism? Yep, another prism flew right into that bio and died. That was a legitimate Phoenix. GPT really held on for a long time in this one. And we actually do get a scan to kill those DTs that time. Disruptor drop. Colossi. I'm trying to fast forward to get through this, Tom. And there we go. GPT holds on for quite a while, but yeah, that was a very good game between the two of them. There was a new bot uploaded to the ladder. Stockfish. Initialization error. Who'da thunk? It's already got its avatar though. Fish on some minerals. We had a new bot. Yuza. That's why I don't bother making them. The Perilous Protoss bot. Huh, it's been a while since I cast a PPB game. So maybe check out one of these. Oh, wow. Yeah, the Perilous Protoss bot recently just came back onto the ladder. The replay's not available for some... Oh, that was back in January, that's why. And it's literally played 2 games. 2 games against Zena, which must have been requested or something. Huh. Okay, so we're not going to cast a PPB. It's cool to see that that bot may be active again. Okay, guys, we got to check it. Yes, Crawler is still taking down Drekken's bot. That's phenomenal. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to know that still happens every now and then. Clicadena. Yes, let's check out Clicadena. Versus... Oh, Clicadena versus Wickedbot? That could be a good game. Although we have cast a lot of Wickedbot lately, so... Clicadena versus Tier, maybe a fair match? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. If you click the match ID, it shows who requested it. That's very good to know. I feel like I should have known that, but... Anyway, let's load into the next game. TVZ from Tier, the Brick. Nobody beats the Brick. All right, so we've got Tier, the old school Terran bot, taking on Clicadena. New-ish Zergbot? Let's pull that up for a second. Yeah, okay. 4th of April, so year and a half old. Using the Aerys framework. Using the Queen framework. Uh-oh. My mouse decided to do that thing. Or it just randomly stops working. Botato working on his bot. Good man. We get an SCV scout from Tier. Here on Pylon, the AI edition. Been live for getting close to an hour now. Thanks to everyone for tuning on in. SCV Scout from Tier. Going around and around the base. We get a Reaper from Tier. So yeah, normal looking TVZ between these two bots. Clicadena, I think, is a bot that's got fairly good fundamentals, and of course Tier does too, for the most part. Sometimes it can be a little too basey. It's not a bot that goes for millions of bases, but yeah, still. We should have a good one on our hands here, I think. It's important to have bots like Tier around that maybe aren't updated too often for newer bots to sort of test themselves against. Clicadena scouting the expo. Reaper comes on in as the Queen is in hot pursuit. We're also getting Burrow from Clicadena. Queen repositioning, trying to head off that Reaper, but not being successful. And Clicadena is actually floating a fair bit of money there for a moment, actually. And it still is, so yeah, really floating money. But it does eventually get it all spent all at the same time. Fires up an Overlord, some drones, a Roach Warren. And then we do have Tyr moving out. Will it be a third base? Yes, it will. So that's nice to see. Tyr already going up to 3 bases. Being a greedy, greedy Terran bot. Third bases aren't really something you can do versus a Zerg on location in a normal game. Fortunately, bots don't get punished as much for that kind of thing. Both of these bots mining away. Clicadena gonna be able to saturate up that third pretty quickly, which will be nice. That's really where the speed mining power comes into full effect. And those drones are just getting right to work. Stim pack on the way. For Tyr, Liberator harassment could be good. We do have the Hellions actually poking a little bit. And not a lot of units out for Clicadena. It's literally playing this as greedy as it can. 3 queens for 3 bases. No units being produced yet. Floating 1,000 minerals in the bank. That is not ideal. Fortunately, the Liberator's being distracted by an Overlord. And a Spore Crawler does get built in response to that coming, potentially. But there we go. 10 roaches finally getting built. So Clicadena seems to just build things in cycles. What it was waiting for, I'm not sure, but it's good to see that it is finally making some units. If Tyr had dived these Hellions, it would have probably just got catastrophic damage done. But there we go. There's the roaches popping on out, looking to save the day, as there's some on the high ground, some on the low ground. And yeah, Tyr's Hellions are not going to get that much done. I guess the drones could have just burrowed too. And yeah, so good shutdown by Clicadena. A lot of Hellions for Tyr that didn't amount to too much. The Liberator also died during that. Not sure what got it. We're also getting Ravagers now from Clicadena. 1/1 upgrades are rolling for Tyr, but the supply isn't that good for the Terran. So if the Zerg gets aggressive, this could be really problematic for Tyr. The 1 tank definitely will be critical if it does have to defend. The second one is building. And okay, the Zerg is coming on in. That tank is just sieging up. Roaches are actually burrowing for Clicadena, retreating. But they do turn around, so not going for this Tyr, trying to stim after the burrowed roaches. Raiden saying, more bots, more bots, more bots. That's what we like. And so Clicadena not going for it, even though it probably could have. Again, you gotta have that margin of error when it comes to deciding when to take engagements. Roaches and Ravager are now crossing the map. And they are at the natural of Tyr. Tyr all of a sudden trying to defend against this. Clicadena almost getting an eBay, but Tyr repairs it. 2 tanks, 3 tanks getting set on up. So it's actually quite a surround from Tyr. Clicadena definitely losing some firepower, but there's more Roaches and Ravagers coming in towards the 3rd base. The Roaches can just burrow and retreat. And let's see here as those Roaches and Ravagers do just get sent all the way home. Good defense from Tyr. Dropping scans as well is very nice. Roaches for Clicadena going back in, not exactly grouped up before they go for the attack. And Tyr does have quite a marine ball to handle this. Stim going down. The Infestors also not using any spells, kind of just dying. Ravagers, I'm not sure they're using Corrosive Biles either. So not a great trade here from Clicadena. Tyr has spent more on scans than anything, I think, just dealing with the burrowed units. The Zergbot's still on 3 bases, just sending it towards Tyr. Tyr is holding the line very effectively so far, though. We do have +2 done, so upgrades are even. Carapace on the way, but then 2-2 also on the way for Tyr, which will give it a really nice upgrade. Glad to hear that the weapon damage bug could be getting resolved soon, mind me. Roaches are getting a pretty good trade against these Marines as the tanks aren't sieged up yet. And then Tyr is pushing on out. The scanning of Tyr is really quite effective, though, to deal with those burrowed units. A few Ravagers having fun, though, getting towards the 3rd base of the Terran. Then the Terran is just crossing the map here, and things are looking pretty rough for Clicadena. For some reason, production for the Zerg has just ceased. It really seems to work in, like, waves, and it, for some reason, has decided not to build any more units. What it's waiting for, I do not know. Somehow 2 Roaches do get a tank. Yeah, Clicadena not spending its money right now. It's got 34 larvae. It is not building any Roaches. It could build, like, 20 or something right now, but yeah, that's not good. I'm wondering if it's not building more units because it still thinks an attack's going or what. But in the end, that does look like it's going to be a victory for Tyr, pushing across the map and just dealing with, like, the 1 Roach harassment. There's all of a sudden 4 Infestors, 32 Lings, and some Roaches being built. It's so bizarre how Clicadena's like, yes, now is the time to build stuff. All these units will pop out in front of the Terran. Unfortunately, they're mostly slow Lings. There's some Roaches, but they are going to get deleted. And yeah, very well done by Tyr. Old but gold, able to take it. Clicadena shows lots of promise. The Infestors, definitely not ideal. Running to their death again and again. Big scan gets dropped here, and that will be that. Do we have any requests as far as which bot to cast next? Okay, who are we gonna cast? It's been a while since Canon. It's so impressive that Canonana has not been updated since February 20th. And it's still just performing so well, despite the new patch. And then... Who haven't we cast today? Changeling, Zena, Aerys? Maybe there's like a good old Aerys versus Benbot game or something? Okay, Changeling, Roro. 7. We're not going to cast Aerys versus Roro. Those games are always weird as heck. 24-minute game against Zena. This is always the risk of clicking on a... Yeah, let's check out Benbot. Or, pardon me, Aerys versus Zena. It's a longer game. And with Zena, that's always interesting. Because you never know. Okay, it's going to be like the whole weird zealot, mass zealot turtling Tempest thing, isn't it? I've seen enough of these. When a bot isn't updated for a long time, things don't really change. So I think we're going to have Zena probably winning, sitting back with 200 supply of zealots and just chilling. That's one of the things. It's A lot of times people don't know about bugs unless someone actually reports them. Or brings them to light, I suppose. Do have Aerys going for its classic drone scout. Zena, meanwhile, goes for a forge first, so it's one base tempesting it against Aerys. Zena kind of doing the strategy that Lunax has now picked up, just using the forge on the high ground to great effect. This build is very, very difficult to cheese out. Which kind of forces your opponent to have to deal with Tempest somehow, which is very, very difficult. Cybercore on the way now. Aerys still scouting out. Yeah, I'm not sure if Sharpened Edge builds the cannons when it goes for the Tempest Rush, though. I can't recall, to be honest. I know Sharpened Edge is a little less optimized than Zena's, per se. We got the Invisible Ghost battery building. But it's there. Meanwhile, Aerys just doing its thing. Overlord did pop in. Sees the cannon, sees the forge, but then turned around, so no indication on the Stargate yet. However, I mean, it's not like this is a new build from Zena. And the devs of Aerys usually are pretty on it as far as fixing major things go. So there's that Stargate finished. We get an Oracle first for Zena, but then the Fleet Beacon starting pretty quick after. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in to the live stream. If you guys haven't already, click the like button for live bots. And this is the thing, like, you have so many extra minerals when you're doing this build. You're just bottlenecked by gas, particularly because of the speed mining. And so, just build lots of cannons and batteries. Zena makes use of the Oracle to pair with the Tempest, which is cool. And then the third base is going up for Aerys. Queen's being built. Lair gets started quite quickly. Teutonic Destabilizers on the way for Zena. I heard a pling, but I don't know what it was. Thank you to whoever caused the pling. I guess I should open Streamlabs. And I'm not signed in. Okay, one moment. Tempest does find an Overlord. Continue. Recent events. There we go. There are... Oh, someone subscribed. Oh, cool. Good to see that alert still works. So that's something to say. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe. Tempest shooting away at the Queens as Aerys tries to sandbag this a little bit. Tectonic Destabilizers, meaning any shots on this hatchery deal a ton of damage, but queens don't take that much damage to Tempest. And then we do here, see, one queen going down. Two other queens are not occupied or not interested in dealing with Tempest. Aerys is getting out a Spire now, which is very important to defend this. Corruptors, I think, pretty much are the way. And losing a hatchery is okay in this situation. The queens bought a lot of time for only 3 deaths. And there we go, Corruptors are already being built. Then we do have a Nexus on the way for Zena. Cool to see it is building cannons and batteries at the new base location. The Tempest are really bullying Aerys here, mining being disrupted a bit, as there's way too many drones at this base, but I guess they're not safe to transfer, or they don't actually have anywhere else to go. Aerys is on 88 workers on 3 bases, that's why. So I guess losing the 4th base was a big deal when you consider that. It's still got a strong 3-base economy, but that's in trouble now. We're up to 11 Corruptors, though, which is getting within the realm of taking down 5 Tempests, depending on the engagement. And we are seeing those Corruptors dive on in. Zena loses 1 Tempest for 1 Corruptor. Corruptors really are better than Tempest, pound for pound, which is why there's always a timer on these rushes. Another queen perishes, Oracle dropping Revelation. Aerys' supply block. The Corruptors do dive in, they kill off the Oracle, and the Tempest are just absolutely eating it here. And that is quite difficult for Zena to handle now, as it's only on 2 bases. It's got charge on the way. Aerys is in quite a good spot against this. Getting up that 4th base again is huge because it's got a ridiculous amount of drones that it is oversaturated with. More Corruptors being built for Aerys. I think this is one of the quirks of Aerys when it's up against Skytoss. Or at least this build, it just starts building Corruptors and then does not stop. It's like, I don't care how many Tempests you... I don't care if you only have 2 Tempests. I need more Corruptors. Zena potentially double expanding here, as it's got a 3rd on the way. We may be getting a 4th. Cannon on the way. And so, yeah, Zena has pretty much lost this game, I think, it's safe to say. Unless there's a major glitch from Aerys. As Aerys is on 82 drones, happily mining. Getting an infestation pit. Zena can chill above cannons and batteries. No 4th base started yet either for Zena. So I think we'll just fast forward a little bit through this one. 3rd base getting saturated for Zena. Aerys still just making more Corruptors. Lots of Lings moving on in. Finding the cannon. Finding the battery. And then getting pushed away. The Corruptors are actually going for a dive, so that's the end for the Tempest once more, which means only charge lots for Zena to defend this, but this is where we get into the wacky situation for Aerys. It's dumped all its supply into Corruptors. It's now building Mutas, which will actually help against these Zealots. But it's adding in a few more Corruptors, and yeah, this is a little bit of a bug in Aerys, I suppose, in that it does just have all these Corruptors, and they don't caustic spray either. And then you get all these Zealots, but I don't think Zena attacks. 25 years of programming, holy cow, mind me. That is a wealth of experience. Single or a few mutas causing some problems. Yeah, I think this will indeed be a Aerys victory. The Zealots are going for it, though. But then they turn around. Because of a muta in the main base? I don't know. It's easy to program, it's hard to do it well. More corruptors being built by Aerys, which means it's got no defense against these zealots. This is the kind of game that it's interesting the first couple times you see it, but then these situations just wear on a little bit. As Zena does go for an attack, Aerys has got barely anything that can actually shoot on the ground. A ton of fungals. And the Corruptors do destroy the Tempest. There's actually quite a few Tempest out here for Zena. It kills a Corruptor, but then Aerys builds more. No, you don't need more Corruptors. Zealots all over the place. So, I mean, Aerys is in a little bit of trouble, but then Zena decides to go home for some reason. Because of Corruptors? These games are just ridiculous. I do like the few mutas out for Aerys, and it's actually more than a few now. It's 11, which can slowly kill Zealots. Aerys notably skipping all upgrades. We're getting Broodlords, which are good against Zealots. Zena has got 70 Zealots right now, which is a few. If it did just right-click on every single base of Aerys, it could probably just win the game. But that's not how that works, so instead we get this. The lack of upgrades is probably hurting a little bit for, well, I guess both bots. Zena only on 4 bases. We'll never get more than 4 bases, I think, as it's not building an observer. It does have oracles, I guess. But there's Broodlords. Killing the Zealots. I apologize for clicking on this replay. It's a slow death for Zena. My PC is absolutely melting. But I mean, I guess we can be grateful. The StarCraft 2 engine handles bots incredibly well. All things considered. If you wonder why I only cast certain bots on the channel, games like this, they're kind part of the reason. I mean, we can check out some shorter games, maybe some more cheesy games. Okay. Take a look at the wider ladder here. I'll probably do like 1 or 2 more games. Thessaloni. Newer bot, for sure. We can check that out. Versus Clicadena. We've already seen Clicadena. Versus Queenbot. Do we want to see a Queenbot game? Maybe see how Dogtato's bot is doing. Which bot is Dogtato's? Bot Tato. AI Arena's being a little slow. We could check out one of Botato's games. For now, we've got Thessaloni, which is just glitching out very, very hard right now, trying to get an extractor going. Oh, it's getting close. But it's really struggling here. Is this whole replay? Is this what I've clicked on? Oh. Okay. It does eventually snap out of it. And then it goes right back to it. So it's like trying to do like an extractor trick or something? Okay, so we have got Thessaloni versus Queenbot. Thessaloni kind of handicapping itself out of the gate. Just goes to show simple things can cause problems. I think it was trying to do the extractor trick or something, and it was probably just selecting a bunch of different workers. I don't know. Who understands why bots do anything? Overlord is trying to just park in this one particular spot, but it will meet its end at the hands of the queens, which hopefully doesn't supply block Thessaloni again. Otherwise, it may try and build another extractor. For some reason, I thought Thessaloni was a Terran bot. Which Terran bot was I thinking of that's newer? See, exactly. Even you ask a bot author to explain why their bot does something, they're like, oh, well, kind of just does. It's what happens when a project reaches a certain size. Lings are moving on in, trying to kill the queens. They do have some micro-injured lings being pulled back. Doesn't work very well against ranged units. Is one ling really trying to be a hero? Doesn't quite get the queen. We do have more and more lings on the way, though, so just 2 base ling flood off 20 drones for Thessaloni. Is it Muravev? No, it's the it's a bot that was highlighted with like tanks or something. Lings are actually getting some of these queens. Then we do get a 3rd base transition though for Thessaloni, so it's kind of like a wave bot. It has a wave of lings, then it transitions a little bit, then sends some more lings. And these lings are actually having some success. Queenbot is only at 4 queens, guys. As these lings are actually going to get the 4th hatch of Queenbot. Thessaloni is getting some damage done. I feel like Queenbot's economy is it's just taking off, though. So 55 drones will rebuild the base, it seems. Creep is all over the place, which is an interesting debate in Zerg versus Zerg. Do you spread creep or not? Guys, I'm starting to think Dr. Kim's a bot. We have +1 on the way for Thessaloniki, so that's going to benefit those Zerglings a little bit more when it does switch back into attack mode. We've got a 4th and a 5th on the way for the red Zerg. Meanwhile, the blue Zerg also has a 4th and a 5th on the way. Both their lairs are timed very similarly. Yes, Tom, how do you feel being used? Okay, so Queenbot's got +1 attack. Thessaloniki's gonna have, or Queenbot's got +1, yeah, +1 attack for range. We got melee attack for Thessaloniki, but now we're getting more and more lings being built. So here we go. Here's the next round of it. And it just sends them out as they spawn. Still, though, it's only 12 queens. I mean, that's a lot of queens, though, and they do have plenty of energy. Creep Tumor's the first target. Thessaloniki getting an infestation pit for some reason. A building Nidus Worm. We got 3 Nidus for Queenbot, so it's going to potentially be able to Nidus Worm Thessaloniki. And here we do have these lings just kind of bouncing off the queens. The Nidus in the main base will be shut down, it seems. Thessaloniki producing more and more lings. So these Nidus may actually be a bit of a blessing. I love how Queenbot just keeps reattempting it. And now the queens are on the front line, so this Nidus will actually get up, it seems. Yeah, the Nidus may actually have been a blessing for Thessaloniki because it means it's not just suiciding its lings, that it's actually kind of pooling them up. And then we do have lings killing off the queens that pop out of the Nidus, so not a great trade for Queenbot. There's 2 more Nidus being thrown up, because why not? Nidus is everywhere. Creep is touching. Don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, Nidus are very, very cheap, for those of you that didn't know. It's what is it, 25-25 or is it 50-50? Either way, not a lot of resources for a late game Zerg. And we do have Queenbot losing a lot of these queens here. We're even getting adrenal glands for Thessaloniki. So many lings. The Nidus inside the main base has failed to get up so far. Not that there's any queens to put in the Nidus, because they all keep dying, even though 8 are being built at a time. And yeah, Thessaloniki is doing pretty good. But then another Nidus gets shut down. Yeah, guys, I think Queenbot's cooked here. It just doesn't have the production it needs. Losing those hatcheries, like it's got 2k minerals in the bank. Drones are being pulled, so we get to see some of Queenbot's famous drone micro. It really is something to behold, as it pulls the boys on a grand scale. But I don't know how they can do against all these lings. But look at that drone micro, it's just the swarm. And like, not many have died at all, and they're actually killing off so many lings. Queenbot's drones are something to behold. Although this may be a few too many lings. The adrenal is definitely going to help out the lings. Thessaloniki saying expansion location blocked, probably by creep, I'm guessing. Queenbot only on 20 drones, so I guess it did start to lose them all of a sudden. And yeah, Thessaloniki able to out-cheese the Queenbot, so it passes the Queenbot test. It's a very chaotic bot. But it gets the job done. GG. Okay, is it time to cast Botato? We'll pick a replay at random. Smoking Gunbot. Now that might be a bit of a tough opponent. Or do we cast versus Princess Mika? Chance? Who's a good opponent? Smoking Gunbot doesn't really attack, so it might give more of a chance for Botato to shine. But at the same time, it does also build Planetary Fortress, so it's kind of difficult to break. When I'm doing this, by the way, guys, I'm blocking the timer, so I can't see that. But I guess you guys can see that, so it doesn't actually help you guys. I should do that off the stream or something. Okay, glad to hear that. We got Botato making its debut on the channel. Taking on Smoking Gunbot. Smoking Gunbot announcing its strategy. We got SCVs already running all over the place between these two. So Botato does go for a scout. Smoking Gunbot was going to scout as well, but then its SCV gets scared by Botato's SCV. And, oh, look at this. A bit of an expo block. We'll see if that actually messes with Smoking Gunbot or not. Little things can add up. Neither of these bots speed mining, so it is a fair fight in that regard. And then we do have a Reaper on the way for Botato. Hey, look, see, it's actually going to block the expo for a little bit. What's Smoking Gunbot going to do in response? It's just a happy little accident is all, is this expo block by Botato. Oh, the SCV decides to run for it. Was that a 2-minute pullback on the scout? We do get a factory for Botato building. The Reaper is just chilling. Interestingly enough, it's pulled out a gas. So saying I do not need any more gas. Expo building, but look at this. Smoking Gunbot has yet to try and rebuild the command center. So that really delayed it. We got a bunker for Botato, the standard safety bunker that is very practical when it comes to programming a bot. Siege tank building for Botato as well. SCVs all back in gas now. I may need to turn off that subscribe alert. Although at the same time, if you're watching and you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Ask your mom to subscribe too. The tank for Botato is just chilling, but it's still got the bunker. We do at least have an orbital command for both bots. So we got 2 Terran bots building bunkers and turtling. Smoking Gunbot has yet to get a gas, notably. Medivac on the way. Yes, have you subscribed to Dr. Kim's poems, Tom? I mean, the economy is going pretty good for Botato, and it does keep pulling SCVs in and out of gas, which I do like. I'm a big fan of dynamic gas balancing. As long as it's not, like, causing issues by waffling or anything. SCV out to gas. SCV's back into gas. SCV's out of gas. We got mules being dropped as the natural is an orbital. Smoking Gunbot a little more behind on that. And yeah, just a big old Terran buildup, but so far, economically, Botato is miles ahead. 10 worker lead, got the extra base done. The 3rd is now on the way on location with an eBay in front of it to boot. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in to this bot stream. If you guys haven't already, click that like button. Do it. What are you doing? These Marines are dancing around a little bit. And then we do have that 3rd for Botato going to give it a nice economic lead. Smoking Gunbot delaying the orbital is pretty painful. Like, there's a reason why you go for an orbital as soon as you can, guys, in StarCraft 2. It's because they pay themselves off super quickly. Like, 1 mule literally pays for an orbital command. And that's every 60 seconds-ish that you can drop a mule. Not even 60 seconds. Gosh, what is it, like 40 seconds? So an orbital pays itself off instantly as soon as it's done. And then it pays itself off again in like 20 seconds. Botato sends some SCVs to their death. I don't know what that was about. Reapers for Smoking Gunbot are killing more SCVs. Is Botato determined to scout again? Is that what's going on? It's not going too well. Mules collect 270, I want to say, presently. Yeah, but it's that thing, like, killing a fresh mule is good. But at the same time, how much does an SCV mine over 5 minutes if that SCV stays alive? Versus a mule that would expire in however many seconds it takes for a mule to expire. I think they're just general scouts, so I don't end up with a tie. Okay. I mean, you're not going to end up with a tie, though, while you're still mining minerals and stuff. So this is a few SCVs being sent to their death. And it sends out another one as soon as one dies, it seems. Smoking Gunbot with its Reapers, keeping an eye on it. Very interesting pathing. Just a big old grid of Marines, but they are at least splitting up against tanks. However, now they're going to try and go up the ramp, it looks like, which will be painful. They're at least trading out with the Marines, and this is a lot of Marines trying to crash the gates for Botato, but it does decide to turn around, which may be wise. Both bots have some Vikings, 1 versus 2, but Botato does go home. It does have a 4th base on the way. That 3rd still has yet to turn into an orbital command, which is bizarre, seeing as how it's got the resources to do so. And then we do have Smoking Gunbot getting up its own 3rd base. Smoking Gunbot notably building 2 more tanks and a bunker at the front, which is cool repositioning instead of just defending its natural. But like Smoking Gunbot built a planetary at the natural base. This is so expensive, it can't be overstated. If you program a bot and it's got, like, every planetary not just costs the extra money for the planetary, but the money you lose in mules is huge for Terran. Still, the 4th base is nice for Botato, but unfortunately, since it has been suiciding these SCVs, the worker count is evening up quite a bit. We're also not getting any more produced. Just like 1 at a time, so I'm guessing it's got a cap of 50. No, it doesn't seem to have a cap of 50. It's just building one worker at a time. Both of these bots are fairly even on army supply, so things are looking pretty even Steven. Lots of tanks, but the problem is it's difficult to attack into tanks for both bots. Cloak for Smoking Gunbot could be a concern for Botato. Do we have any static defense? We do actually have a few turrets around, which is good. And a Raven being built, more Vikings, lots of starports. And Botato is going for another attack, trying to crack this front position. There's combat shield. Marauders are moving forward. Vikings are finding some medivacs. Botato's own Viking is trying to be a hero, but he's outnumbered. We're also getting cloak from Botato, but no banshees yet from either side. They're both getting building armor. These two bots are, they're a good match for each other for sure. Smoking Gunbot does have that 4th base building. Botato definitely has been the aggressor in this, as Smoking Gunbot is a very turtly bot. It's got a Liberator getting set up now. The Viking count really matters in situations like this. Tank is sieging up, so they may actually be in range of the bunker now. And they are, so that's really good for Botato as the bunker falls. But still, breaking the tanks is the main challenge. The bunker was going to be rebuilt for Smoking Gunbot, but then it changed its mind, which is interesting. Lots of Marines running out into the tank fire. That really hurts. We do have more bases going up as Botato claims the gold. Worker count is now in the lead for Smoking Gunbot. Turret may get a Raven. Vikings finish it off. Tanks coming in to try and be heroes, it seems. Little bit scrappy here, but quite a fair match. The tanks for Smoking Gunbot really are what's keeping it safe right now. It does have the planetaries, of course, at its bases, but planetaries don't really do much against siege tanks. Botato does move down towards the bottom left, which is very cool. It's not just programmed to attack towards the enemy main, it seems. Finds barracks, finds the fusion core. The gold base definitely will help out Botato. And we do actually get a Banshee being produced, but there is lots and lots of turrets up. Still no orbital at that 3rd base. I'm wondering, maybe that was supposed to be a planetary? Oh, is it 220? Okay, 220. Maybe it was 270 and then it got brought down in that patch they did. Still, mules bring in an unholy amount of money for Terran. Like, 1 mule pays for an orbital command. Which is why they're important. The army of Botato is looking pretty formidable. Smoking Gunbot's just not quite as good. However, it does really snug up to this new base it's building. It's got Liberators it can set up. It's got the tanks there. This is going to be a tough break. There's a Raven to help reveal the Banshees. We even get a scan from Smoking Gunbot to reveal those Banshees in the sky as the Blue Terran kind of holds on, but then it overextends and tries to push out. But it looks like Botato is gaining some ground here. And this base very well may be cancelled as the SCV building it gets killed. Smoking Gunbot's production just isn't enough really to match this big old army. We need more units for Smoking Gunbot. The Liberators getting some work done. But those critical tanks that were kind of holding the line for Smoking Gunbot all game have gone down. Botato has a very nice supply lead. Both bots just marching to the beat of their own drum. And doing fine. Random Reaper harassment. Looks like Botato is chasing that Reaper down. Lots going on here. As Smoking Gunbot moves out with a few odd units. Cyclone, Liberators, SCVs to repair. But there's plenty of Vikings to shut down those Liberators. And they will be shut down. There is advanced ballistics, so they are shooting white-hot fire. But another attempt at this base is probably going to be shut down. Neither bot is really in danger of running out of money, but Smoking Gunbot is just not building enough of an army and is losing too much stuff. It's got one more tank out, but that tank doesn't siege up. Another Liberator comes on out, but Botato is in a pretty darn good spot right now in order to push out. Planetary now under assault as Botato moves on in. It is targeting down some of the SCVs, which is very important, not just using the default game AI, which attacks only the Planetary. So targeting down those SCVs is very, very important. The Planetary does fall as well, and Smoking Gunbot is just crumbling. I mean, breaking planetaries is very difficult, but I'd be pretty surprised if Botato loses the game at this point. Another planetary building, but not yet done. And so that will go down. Liberators may grab a few tanks. Another planetary being worked on. So much firepower here from Botato. The +2 attack helping out, the tanks in the back, and the repair is not enough. I think it's just a matter of waiting for the cleanup at this point. So, very, very well done by Smoking Gunbot. Or pardon me, by Botato and Smoking Gunbot. Yeah, you were right. This was a good match between these two. Just gotta wait for the cleanup now. I think that's probably where I'll call this stream here today, guys. If you enjoyed it, though, and you haven't already, click the like button, subscribe, join the Discord. I announce more streams there. If you do want to support the stream, consider becoming a YouTube member, and big thanks to everyone that is. And yes. Botato's still expanding as well, which is good to see. Waiting for the cleanup. Uh-oh. You're gonna clean it up. Okay, one Marine makes it in. And there we go. GG. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Stay tuned for the video tomorrow, as always. Bye-bye.